Every soul that has ever lived has crossed paths with him. From the very first breath to the final heartbeat, he waits, quiet, unseen. He doesn't speak. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. He knows the exact moment your name is called. And when it is, he responds. Azrael, the angel of death. Not a myth, not a villain, but a servant of the Almighty. He doesn't destroy, he gathers. And his touch is the final moment every soul on earth will know. This isn't a tale of fear. It's a story of divine purpose, unwavering obedience, and a kind of mercy we can barely understand. Because behind every ending is an appointed time, and standing at that moment is Azrael. Before we begin this powerful and mysterious journey, welcome to Bible Mysteries, the place where we uncover the hidden truths of Scripture, the ones you won't hear on Sunday morning. If this kind of content speaks to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell to never miss a moment. Azrael, a name softly echoed in ancient writings, rarely mentioned in most Bibles, never spoken at funerals, yet his presence is felt in the space between life and what comes after. Known in many faiths, feared by some, misunderstood by most. He's been called the Angel of Death. Others call him Malik al-Maut, but no title fully captures the weight he carries. He watches, he listens, and when the moment comes, he acts. Not in rage, but in faithful obedience. We often think of death as punishment, but in the divine design, death was never chaos. It wasn't meant to be violent or terrifying. From the start, death was part of the rhythm, part of creation's deeper song, and Azrael was chosen to guide that final note. Not because he was cruel, but because he could carry the burden. Because someone had to. God spoke, and angels came into being. Radiant, unimaginable beings of light. Each with a name, each with a purpose. Michael would lead, Gabriel would speak, Raphael would heal. But one task remained untouched. One role no angel stepped forward to claim. The separation of soul from body, the exact instant when time meets eternity. It wasn't dark, it wasn't violent, but it was heavy. And before the throne of God, a question was asked. Who will bring my children home? Some angels turned away. Others bowed their heads, not in rebellion but in awe. Who could carry such sorrow without breaking? Azrael stepped forward. He said nothing grand. He didn't ask for details. He simply said yes. From that moment, the task became his. It's easy to picture Azrael as a dark, frightening figure, like the images carved in medieval art. But those are human imaginations. The truth is far deeper, more sacred. They say that when Azrael comes for the soul of a righteous person, he lifts it as gently as a strand of hair from still water. No fear, no pain, just peace. But for the soul that has lived in cruelty or pride, it's different, like pulling thorns through soaked wool. Same hand, same purpose, different hearts. Azrael does not judge. He doesn't accuse. He fulfills what is written. Still, every death leaves a trace. In some ancient texts, it's said he has many eyes, each one holding the name of a soul. And when a soul passes, that eye weeps. He remembers us, even when we forget him. In older writings, Azrael is said to carry a scroll, not of laws or history, but of names. Every life ever lived is written there, and when a name fades, he knows. He doesn't hurry, he doesn't panic. He simply comes, unseen, quiet, and sure. When the soul begins to tremble, when it starts to loosen from the flesh, Azrael reaches out, not with force, not with flame, but with the quiet strength of one who has always done this. And in that moment, time stops. Because Azrael is never rushed. Only the soul, the journey, and the return matter. In the earliest moments of creation, before pain, before joy, before Adam took his first breath, the heavens were filled with only light and obedience. The angels were not made to rule, but to serve. There was no sin, no grief, no death. Only God's will stretching across eternity. Then came a new command, one that stilled the heavens. God said that death would enter creation, not as a curse, but as a way back. a return to the one who gave life. The angels were shaken. They had never seen life fade. God asked a single question: who will bring my creation back to me? Not one stepped forward, not Michael, not Gabriel, not Raphael. But Azrael did, quietly, faithfully. He didn't ask for glory, he just said yes. From that moment, he became the one who would guide every soul home. Not death itself, but the hand that would carry us through it. This task came with sorrow, with grief, with resistance. Humans would fear him. They would draw him as a shadowy figure, as a skeleton, as something cold. They would forget that he was sent by love. But Azrael never stopped. He came for every child who left too soon, every elder who slipped away in silence, every soul caught between hope and fear, always present, always faithful. Before the first man lived, God asked the angels to collect the earth's clay, but the earth resisted. It wept, knowing what was to come. One by one, the angels returned, unable to complete the task. Then Azrael was sent. He came to the earth, and when it cried out, he wept with it. Not from weakness, but from understanding. Still he obeyed. He gathered the clay with care. And because he fulfilled this command, God gave him the duty of watching over all who would come from that dust. From the dust we are made, and to the dust we return. But not alone. Azrael would be there to guide us. Azrael wasn't shaped to be feared. He was made to carry what others couldn't. The collapse of empires, the ending of lives, the heartbreak of generations, without turning cold. He is unseen, but always present, sometimes arriving at a final breath, sometimes waiting patiently, often misunderstood, feared, but never absent. He doesn't question God. He doesn't linger when it's done. He only hopes for one thing, that the soul is ready, and even when it's not, he remains gentle, because he remembers the promise he made when he first said yes. There is a silence right before the soul lets go, a stillness so deep that time seems to hold its breath. No alarms, no final words, just stillness. That is when Azrael appears. He doesn't need to announce himself. The soul already knows him, deep within from before birth. He is not a stranger. He has always been waiting. He doesn't take the soul by force. He frees it. How that release happens depends on how the soul lived. For the kind, the faithful, the patient. Azrael comes like a soft breeze, like cool water. To them, he is beautiful. Ancient words say the soul is drawn out like silk from oil, smooth, effortless, weightless. He lifts it, he holds it, he comforts it, not because the soul understands, but because it feels safe. But for the soul that clings to pride and cruelty, the soul that won't let go, Azrael still comes. But the soul resists. It fights. It tries to stay tied to what it built. That's when the pain begins. Not from Azrael, but from the soul itself. It is torn, pulled, broken, not because it's judged, but because it never learned to let go. Azrael never shows hatred, only sorrow. Some say that in the final moment, you don't just see Azrael, you see your entire life, not as punishment, but as a return. Every choice, every word, every soul you touched. Azrael stands beside it all. Even the prophets met him. No matter how close they were to God, no matter the miracles, they too returned. But for them, it was more than an ending. It was sacred, beautiful. Azrael was there, still, silent, reverent. The story of Moses is one of the most remembered. A man who spoke with God, a man of miracles. And when his time came, Azrael was sent. Moses asked for more time, not from fear, but from love. God allowed it. Moses went alone to the mountain. He saw the promised land, but he would not enter. He stood at the edge, and when the time came, he did not resist. Azrael returned, and some say he took Moses' soul with a kiss. Soft, final, tender. No thunder, no terror, just a return. This is the part of Azrael the world forgets. The one who waits, who honors, who serves. He has stood beside kings and criminals, saints and rebels, mothers and martyrs, and in every moment, he was what he needed to be. Silent, steady, faithful. It's not that Azrael treats prophets differently. It's that the prophets saw death differently. They didn't fear it. They met it. And for those who walk with God, that meeting is beautiful. The prophet rests, not gone, not lost, but carried by the one who never faltered. Azrael, not a symbol of fear, but the guardian of return, the final witness, the last hand before home. May we not fear him, but recognize the mercy in his calling. And when our time comes, may we too be met with gentleness and light. If this message stirred something in you, if it brought peace or reflection, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. This is Bible Mysteries, where the veil lifts and the hidden stories come to light.